Hey, hello, everyone. I'm G-Man, and that there's T-Money. Welcome to the post-Super Bowl, February 15th, Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. After all the games, all the sweat, all the bets, all the fantasy, T-Money, we have a champion, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep, congratulations to them. Just a crazy good game overall. Back and forth. Give credit to the Eagles. They played a great game. But yep, Kansas City takes the win here. Big historical repercussions from this. Either could have been bad, could have been good. But man, we'll get into that. But it was just a great game. It was fun to watch. One of the better Super Bowls I've seen in a while.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about it a lot today, recapping everything and talking about the future. And hey, I just saw Derek Carr was released this week. The Raiders avoid the $40 million in guaranteed payments, T-Money. We were just talking about this last week and making our projections, and I think we're pretty much on the mark.
Yep, we'll see where he ends up. He can actually sign before free agency opens because he was released and he's not a free agent. So he can sign before free agency. Big advantage to him.
Okay, good. Well, hey, I hear all the reports and everybody's talking New Orleans. He's been there twice. The Jets, I thought, were a better option for him. I've heard their name, and the team I thought was the best option, Tampa Bay, they're not even talking to him.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Going to be interesting to see where he lands up. It'll cause a lot of waves and dominoes for sure.
Well, we got February 28th. The Combine starts at Lucas Oil Stadium, so that'll be exciting. And then March 15th kicks off the new NFL year, T-Money. And, of course, we got the draft April 27th. So we'll be working our way up here. Father, Son, and Holy Sport, getting you ready for all of that in the offseason. Do us a favor, buddy. Press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support, man. Let's go to the Ross Rundown. No big bets or fantasy for you today, but we got some other great stuff. And let's start off with that Super Bowl T-Money. Let's talk about Patty Mahomes, man. What's this all mean for him?
Hey, before we get going, G-Man, I need you to center up in that video. You know, you're moving too much to the side. I got to see your beautiful face here, you know.
Well, yeah, I'm on the side because my man is in the middle of the picture, and I want you to see him.
You know, I don't want your face cut off at all. You know, I need your beautiful face.
I know, I'm a mover. I'm a mover and a shaker.
Okay,
you know that.
Okay, that's all I want to know. No, this is a huge deal for Patrick Mahomes here. Okay, it could have gone a very, very dark way. All of a sudden, he's been to the AFC Championship 5 years in a row, and he has one Super Bowl. He's 1-3 in Super Bowls. He only throws for 180 yards in this one, and he gets demolished by the Bucs. You know, it's just, it could have been bad. Andy Reid, too, now 1-4 in Super Bowls. And is he good enough coach? Can Patrick Mahomes, you know, is great in the playoffs, but he actually gets worse in the Super Bowl numbers-wise. So it's just, it could have been bad. But this guy turned it on in the second half, threw one incompletion that was a throwaway. So basically was a perfect game in the second half. He had maybe his biggest play of his career on that, like 40-yard scramble to get him into field goal range on the last drive on a bum ankle. And he did it, man. Andy Reid schemed up a beautiful game. It's big for Mahomes. This for me puts him in the top 3 or 4 in NFL history already. 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 Super Bowls. I mean, it's Peyton, Montana, and Brady. And I might take Mahomes over Brady, or not Brady, Mahomes over Peyton at this point. So,
yeah.
Like, he's a top 4 quarterback. He's a Mount Rushmore quarterback with 5 years of starting. It's unprecedented. We've never seen anything like it. He's on the path to catching Brady, which is something we thought we would never say.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. He has shifted the whole conversation with this victory, and I agree with everything he said. I don't know that he passes Peyton yet. And plus, Peyton's so much better in commercials. You know, Peyton's just simple.
True.
But Mahomes, he's won 2 league MVPs, 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He's won the passing title. Got all the stats, man. Got all the stats in only 6 seasons. So just one of 7 players to win the league and Super Bowl MVP in the same season.
Yeah.
Had a great year, man. But I don't know that he's passed Peyton yet. But yeah, I agree. 4th place right now is a good spot for him. And Brady, of course, is going to be tough to beat, but he could beat him. Anything's possible. And we'll just let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to say Brady got 3 Super Bowls in his first 5 years. Mahomes is 2 in his first 5 as a starter, But people don't realize Brady also only had 3 through 14 seasons. So, he did get them early, but then he went a long time till he got more Super Bowl wins, at least. He got to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
Mahomes is on a great path. And this is what's impressive about this is this was supposed to be a down year for them. They started a ton of rookies at running back and cornerback and at offensive line. They're just a very young team. They shipped away Tyreek Hill. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had the biggest cap hit in the league. They had a bad wide receiving core. I mean, it was just all the signs were pointing to this be the year to get the Chiefs, a rebuilding year, and they still won the damn thing. And this team is dangerous moving forward. That's for sure.
And Mahomes, great guy. He says he learned from Brady how to fight and that never give up and always push it. He learned that from Brady. Brady was never satisfied. He'd go over the sideline, start going crazy because he wanted to win.
Yeah.
And that's what Mahomes picked up from Brady, that whole thing. And I love how Mahomes talked about God and showed his faith out there. He's not afraid to do that. I love that about him, that he did that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a resilient guy, hurt his ankle, clearly in a lot of pain. People were questioning whether or not he would come out in the second half, and he just gutted it out and was exactly what they needed. They couldn't get anything deep on these guys, and he just slowly picked them apart in the second half. They scored on all 4 of their drives in the second half. An impressive game and an impressive win for Andy Reid, too. Great for him. He really did a magnificent job calling plays as well.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move on to the controversial call at the end of the game. The Eagles get flagged for holding on 3rd down, which basically sealed the game and didn't give the Eagles any time left to come back and try to tie or win the game in regulation there. So did the refs cost the Eagles a Super Bowl, G?
Well, from my experience here on Father, Son, and Holy Sport, I never blame things on the refs. We talk about refs every once in a while, but for the most part, we're not picking on the refs. I do think that messed up that call. That was a ticky-tack call made late in the game. You didn't have to call that. I think it was, a big call. And those Philly fans, man, they're never going to forget this.
Yeah.
That was terrible. He was within so close to the line of scrimmage. Little tug on the jersey. I just think there's a little bit of contact allowed up by the line of scrimmage, and Mahomes was throwing it away for the most part. It wasn't even close. And so I don't think they needed to call it. I see how the Philly fans are upset about this. I bet Philly. I thought Philly was going to win this game. So, hey, I still don't blame it on the refs. I think there's a lot of things they could have done, Philly, to win this game. And bottom line is that defense did not come through in the second half. The defense that they were known so well for, that defense was supposed to dominate. They didn't get one sack of Mahomes. We're talking about Mahomes. Part of it is Mahomes is good, but that Philly D did not come through. And guess what? The Philly defense coordinator just got promoted. He got a head coaching job. So there you go, man. The guy didn't do the job in the Super Bowl. He gets a promotion.
Gary, I think you nailed it right there. All right.
Oh,
I think you hit the nail on the head.
That's the first time you've ever said that to me.
I think you hit the nail on the head here. Like, yes, the ref, it was a hold. And if you're going 55 and a 50, even if it's 5 miles an hour over in a big spot, it's a hold. That's all I'm saying. It is a hold. He clearly grabbed the jersey. Yes, it's a ticky-tack. Don't give the guy ammo to pull that flag. You did it. You got to suck it up. And I give Bradbury a ton of credit for standing up there and saying it was a hold. So good on him. I'm impressed how the Eagles handled this. But I'm on your side, G. This defense was supposed to be 85 Bears, most sacks, this year by any team running away. And they got destroyed. This is on that defense, man. 38
and they really
points.
Didn't do that well in the first half either. It's just that they controlled the ball. They had time of possession.
It's time of possession.
Their defense been out there more. They might have been bad in the first half too. The stats looked fine in the first half, but they didn't play that well in the first half either.
100%. You're so right. And so that's why I do this. And you guys, if you want to blame the refs here, There was clearly a Dallas Goedert catch down the sideline on a critical third down for the Eagles where he bobbled the ball, and they reviewed it and still called it a catch. Clearly not a catch.
Right.
There was another one where the running back for the Eagles caught the ball, took 2 steps, got popped, and the Chiefs picked it up and ran it for a touchdown. They called it a touchdown on the field. It looked like reversible. And they still reversed it. So if you want to call the refs blowing this game for the Chiefs here, or blowing the games for the Eagles and on the Chiefs side, let's pump the brakes and give a little context. All right. Like I said, you grab the jersey, even ticky-tack, you give them a reason. So don't blame the refs. Your defense blew this game.
Hey, hats off to those Philly fans, man. That was like a home game for Philly. They had a lot of fans in that stadium down there in Arizona. I give them a lot of credit, man. I love those Philly fans.
Yeah.
I know they'll be back. I know they're frustrated by this, but man, they had a great season and they had a great following. They had the home field advantage in that Super Bowl. And hey, I know I messed up on the props, all you fans out there. I gave you some defensive props for Philly, and Philly didn't bring those defensive props, but I did give you the props on Hurts breaking the Super Bowl record in rushing yards. I told you guys that. The guy breaks the Super Bowl record, 70 yards, totally crushed the rushing prop, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, impressive.
Hey, man. Hey, let's go to Travis Kelce. I know he's your man. He's my man. You know, you and I had a fantasy trade. I traded Kelce for Saquon. You got Kelce. I got Saquon. We both won in the end, but I love Kelce, man. He was great in my locker room. I know you love him too, man. I guess is he the GOAT now? Is he number 1 all time? What do you think?
The tight end GOAT. It's just tough. Okay, I think he is. The second Super Bowl kind of solidifies that. And everyone's going to say Rob Gronkowski, and I understand. And he is a good blocker. He is a better blocker than Travis Kelce. But let me put some context into what he's done as a receiver. All right. Travis Kelce has 7 1,000-yard seasons.
Right. Yep.
No other tight end has 4.
Yeah.
And he's done them all in a row. This guy is Mr. Durable. And every game he could have started, he has only missed 2 games. And one was because they had the 1 seed already. So he's missed 1 game because of injury. Rob Gronkowski has been known for prolific injuries. And Travis Kelce is not just in the postseason tight end rankings, in all pass catching rankings, number 2 in every category to Jerry Rice only. He is receptions, yards, touchdowns, and in 18 games, this guy has 16 touchdowns. I know Gronkowski has 4 Super Bowls, and he had Tom Brady, he had the GOAT. Kelce might get a few more, but every sign for me is pointing towards Travis Kelce being the new tight end GOAT after capturing his 2nd Super Bowl and having an impact like he did this postseason.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I think this really elevated Kelce. I mean, that guy's amazing. The guy's amazing. And
fun.
The guy that holds the career record, if you look at career stats at tight end, Tony Gonzalez is up there in the argument because of his career. He just racked up a lot of yards. He had the longevity. He's 2nd among tight ends in career touchdowns and games played, 270 games played. So Gonzalez has that career record, but Gronkowski has those 4 Super Bowls with Brady. The guy's exciting. He came up with big plays at the right time in big games. So until Kelce came along, Gronk dominated.
Yeah.
Who's the best postseason guy? He was by far the best postseason guy. Now Kelce's pulled even with him, I think, in terms of postseason. And he's going to be, if he keeps playing, he's got him beat on career stats now.
Yeah, and I think that's where Kelce is the better postseason player than Gronk, other than Super Bowls. Better postseason everything. And he's going to end up with a better career than Tony Gonzalez. And I think that's where you're looking at this.
That's kind of what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned it. So maybe he doesn't end up with his many yards, but the guy's going to be all pro left and right. I mean, he's top 5 in receiving yards, not just for tight ends, for wide receivers too, year in and year out. This guy is unbelievable as a pass catcher. And now he's done it as the number 1 option because people were going to say this was Tyreek Hill's team in that last Super Bowl. He was the driving force for the pass catchers this year, and they won a Super Bowl with him as the number one option. Not many tight ends can say that, and so that's why this guy, to me, is the new tight end GOAT now that he can say he's a multi-time champion.
I'm still saying Gronk's number one. I'm saying Gronk's number one.
Okay.
Kelce got to give me another Super Bowl.
Okay.
Gronk's got 4 Super Bowls. I want to see more out of Kelce to put him up there, but I love Kelce. And here's what really is kind of irritating. When you look at Kelce and what he gets paid versus the other tight ends in the league, look how much he means to that team. Okay, I'm going to give you the 5 what the tight ends made last year and salary, and you tell me if this sounds fair to you. George Kittle's number 1, $15 million. George Kittle is the highest paid right now. Travis Kelce's number 2 at $14.3 million. Okay, Kittle is a great player on that team. Okay, I can see that, but Kelce should be ahead of Kittle. Number 3 is Dallas Goedert. He makes $14.25 million. Kelce's only $14.3. Mark Andrews is 4th. He makes $14 million. And then Njoku makes $13.7. How are those guys within $1 million of Kelce when he's so much more of a contributor?
You're so right. And I this is where I give my Cincinnati brother so much credit here. This guy could easily have reset the market multiple times over for tight ends. And I do feel bad for future generations. I'm sorry, Kyle Pitts and Michael Mayer, all these guys coming in. I'm sorry that he didn't do this for you, because he should. It's not can or should. He easily could be making 20 plus million a year. It's not even a question. He's the best pass catcher on a team. He's 1,500 yards. This is not should we pay tight ends? This is, should we pay Travis Kelce the most money in the NFL for any pass catcher? Like, he's in that conversation. And so I give him credit for taking a $10 million annual pay cut so that this team can be a Super Bowl contender, because he has restructured his contract many times over to get guys in here, to get Juju and to get Jerick McKinnon and get little extra pieces that are the reason that they get over the hump. And so another reason I just love this guy so much. He's such a team guy and he's so fun, and it just makes it so much easier to root for this guy. So big Travis Kelce fan here, obviously because of my Cincinnati ties, but I think he is the GOAT now. I do. I think he needed multiple championships. I'm not a count the rings guy, but if he's going to win 2 and bend to 3, give me this guy now as the GOAT. But I respect you saying Gronk. I totally see the argument. One more Super Bowl though, he's probably overtaken at that point.
Yeah.
Well, let me move on to another Eagles topic. Now back to the Eagles here.
We can't let go of them.
Can't let go of them. I want to know what your thoughts are. Can the Eagles get back to the Super Bowl in the next year or two? What are your thoughts here on their future? Can they get back to the big dance?
Absolutely. I can't believe you even asked me that question. 1 penalty away from winning the Super Bowl.
Oh,
we would have been talking totally different. We would have been talking totally different if they would have won that game. So I think it's great odds right now. You look at the odds for the Super Bowl. There's 2 teams in the NFC. It's the Eagles and the 49ers that are in that conversation for the NFC champion, which puts them back in the Super Bowl. So it's the Eagles and 49ers. It's going to come down to those 2 guys again next season. The Eagles will be back to fight it out with the Niners. I agree with that. But Philly's a good buy there at plus 750, 7-1, a little over 7-1 odds to win that Super Bowl. Hey, the Eagles, by the way, joined the 2016 Atlanta Falcons, the only team in Super Bowl history to lose when leading at halftime by double digits. And of course, the Falcons never recovered. Will the Eagles recover?
Yeah, so this is a tough one for me. And I think the reason is, when you look at this roster, Lane Johnson might retire. Jason Kelce might retire. Fletcher Cox is probably on another team next year. Hassan Reddick's on another team next year and a free agent. Their other linebackers are free agent. Brandon Graham's probably retiring. And they have to pay Jalen Hurts, and so that loses a lot of depth at a lot of positions as well. And now You're telling me they've lost their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator. I mean, this is maybe the most turnover we might see from a Super Bowl team ever. I mean, it's crazy how many big stars they're going to lose to free agency, retirement, or guys and head coaches taking other jobs. So that concerns me big time. And then on top of that, they played a very easy schedule this year. Daniel Jones a few times, Davis Mills. They played Aaron Rodgers in the earlier the season when they were really bad, when they were bad. They played a lot of low-level people this year. Taylor Heineke, all these low-level quarterbacks. And that's why their defensive stats were so good. And so I'm concerned that defense won't be the same playing a number one schedule. But the NFC is so bad. It's so bad. You said, it's them and the Niners. Like, I don't trust the Cowboys. I don't trust the Cowboys. And that's the only other team. So I can't believe I'm saying that they're going to be in the NFC Championship. They're just going to be.
I think so too.
And if you're going to be in that, then yeah, you can make the Super Bowl. So every ounce of me is like, and every sign says they're not going to. But the NFC is horrible.
It's really going to be interesting to see the 49ers, that one quarterback away from having an unbelievable team.
Yeah.
One quarterback away.
A healthy quarterback.
They add that quarterback in there. I'm talking about a stud superstar quarterback. They could get one.
Yeah.
And if they get that answer, that's their answer to Philly. They could beat Philly.
For sure. And look, I love the Niners. I was on the Niners. I think they would have won that game personally if Purdy was healthy. But yeah, that's the only question here. And that's why I'm saying, as long as you get to the NFC Championship game, hey, you got a shot. So, I think they can get back in the next few years. Jalen Hurts has taken massive steps, and I'm excited for him. But the NFC is just so bad. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare out the next few years. But, hey, they're in the better conference. AFC, I'd say absolutely not with that much turnover.
Well, think about that. Well, let's go talk about the AFC then. Talk about Kansas City. Will they get a chance? Will they go back again? Will they win the Super Bowl again?
Man, I just Patrick Mahomes next year is the 5th highest cap hit. And Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Lamar Jackson are all supposed to get new contracts. That means he could be like the 9th highest cap hit in the league, which is absurd. The amount of money they're going to have to spend is crazy, and they don't have a lot of holes. They need a wide receiver. They need to draft a wide receiver. They might need a little help on the defense, but they played so many rookies and young guys that this team is now like a cheap but veteran team. And so I don't see anyone in the AFC. I think the Bills are in cap hell. They're going to go down. The Bengals have to decide if they're going to pay T. Higgins or trade him, and they got to pay Burrow, so they're not going to have the cap space. I like the Jags, but are we ready to trust them yet? I think the AFC is a much harder conference, but like I said earlier in this episode, this was the year. They're going to be dangerous, man. I mean, they're dangerous, and all they're going to say, back to back, baby. Let's back to back this. That's what every GOAT wants, back to back. And so I think Kansas City, they are the favorite, and I think they should be. And if I was a betting man, I would have Kansas City futures because I don't know who can stop this team at the moment. And if they somehow get better on defense by a few good free agents and draft picks, that should be scary for the rest of the NFL.
Kansas City 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. Cincinnati 8-1. Buffalo 9-1 out of the AFC. And during the Mahomes era, they've won at least 12 games in the regular season, every one of his seasons.
Crazy.
They've won the AFC West every season, and they've went to the AFC Championship game during each of his seasons, during each of Mahomes' seasons. They've got 2 Super Bowl wins, 1 Super Bowl loss, 2 AFC Championship game losses. They own that AFC Championship.
It's insane.
They at least get to the championship.
Think about this too, Gary. They not only have gotten to the AFC Championship game, but the only time they've lost in an AFC Championship game is in overtime. Like they're not like they've never lost in regulation of an AFC championship game. That's absurd. So like good luck beating this team, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mahomes and Reed, what a combination.
So good.
I mean, why can't these other offenses pick up something from Reed? I mean, the guy is so creative.
He's
how
genius.
He gets people open. And yeah, his spinning huddle. You use anybody with a spinning huddle. I mean, they scored off of that the first time they did it.
God.
I'm just giving you an example of how creative this team is and how much Mahomes trusts Reed.
Yeah, it's impressive, man. I would be scared as hell if I was the rest of the NFL. Think about this. I'll give you another funny stat. The team to play the most rookies this year, Chicago, the Texans, who both are the 1 and 2 picks, Seattle, who had a phenomenal draft and everyone thought was going to be rebuilding, and then the Chiefs. The 4th most rookie minutes played this year were the Kansas City Chiefs. This team is only getting better, and everyone's on the cheap right now. I can't believe, I keep saying it, this was the year to get them, and you let them win anyways. Crazy.
All right. Well, hey, we got Randy's calling. Randy's down. Cousin Randy's out there on the I don't know where he's at, actually. Let's go see where Cousin Randy is for this week's Chug and Chant.
Hey, welcome into this week's Chug and Chant. It's Cousin Randy, and it's post Super Bowl time. I got my green on because the Eagles got a big decision coming up, but so does Jalen. So let me get this chug in, and let's chant. All right, Eagles fans, Eagles coaching staff, Eagles GM, Eagles ownership, got a big decision coming. What are you going to do about Jalen Hurts? You going to pay him? You going to let him ride out his contract, then franchise tag him? You going to try to just do rookies, be the first team to go that route? Or are you going to lowball him? Jalen Hurts, what are you going to do? You going to try to get every last penny? Or you going to hold out like Lamar Jackson? A lot of decisions to be made, but I know one thing. The Eagles better pay up. This man just showed up on the biggest stage, almost outperformed Patrick Mahomes, second in MVP voting. This guy was unbelievable this year. He deserves every cent, and he's just as good in the locker room and as a leader for a franchise as you can ask. But Jalen Hurts, let me warn you, all the big cap hits, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, all these big contracts, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, these guys aren't getting deep in the playoffs. And if you're smart, you'll realize that taking a pay cut can make your team better and surround your team. You're going to lose a lot of free agents this year, the Eagles. Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce might retire. Hassan Reddick, you got a lot of boys that might be gone. Jalen Hurts make a smart decision, but only one thing stands. The Eagles better back up the Brinks truck for this man. G-Man, team money, what do you think? Eagles got to pay this man out the wazoo? Should Jalen Hurts take less money? Where's your head? What are your thoughts?
And okay, Randy. Hey, man, Woo. Nice to see Cousin Randy. It's been a while seeing Cousin Randy, and I agree with him that Eagles need to pay Hurts $4.3 million a year. He's going to make $4 million a year. Come on, man.
Well, I mean, that's just his rookie contract. They're obviously going to pay him. Yeah. I think they're going to pay him. But what are your thoughts on what Randy said? Because, if I'm Hurts, I'm taking every penny. But what do you think he should do? Should he take somewhat of a pay cut? Or should he try to reset the market? Because he can get $50 million annually easily. I mean, he could.
I don't think $50 million is resetting the market. There's a lot of guys around $50 million. He should get in there in the Kyler Murray range, $46 million. A year should be kind of the target, 46 to 50 in that range is what he deserves.
Yeah. Do you like the option, like Patrick Mahomes did, taking a longer deal, spreading it out so you can help your team long term? What are your thoughts on I
love that.
If I'm Hurts, I mean, he's a young guy. He's a young guy, Jalen Hurts.
He's a humble guy too. I don't see him like pushing this. Not like Lamar is being erratic. In his negotiation. He's being erratic, and he's turning down deals that I think he should have taken. I don't think Hurts is going to do that. I don't think he should.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts is 24. He's so young. I would sign this guy to like a 7-year deal. And it's mainly because his character that you trust him to do a 7-year deal. A lot of these guys do like 5-year deals, or the 4th year is not guaranteed, so he could cut after 4. Like, I'd give this guy 7 years, 48 mil annually, maybe 46 if you give him something longer and a little higher guaranteed money. But I'd take that if I was both sides, because you lock him up through his age 31 season. He's just hitting his prime, and you can have a little more flexibility with your money if you can get him on a more long-term contract. So, yeah, I would sign this guy tomorrow. And if I'm Jalen, just be smart, man. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, smart enough to try to realize, let's get a longer-term deal done. I'll take a little less money. I could reset this market if I wanted to. If I'm him, I'm trying to do something like that to help my team long term, because I think he's hungry, man, and he's hungry, and you want to get back to that Super Bowl once you're there.
Yeah, and don't forget, a year and a half ago, people were questioning whether Hurts was the right guy.
He should be in the NFL.
They were talking about going out on the draft and going to get someone.
Yeah,
and Hurts was kind of wondering if he was going to be the guy himself. He went from that to playing in the Super Bowl and playing well and almost winning. And so now I think he's going to be, hey, I really was almost out of this thing. I almost blew it. And now I'm there. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be thankful.
Yeah.
I think he's going to, pretty much, I think he'll agree to a deal quickly. And the Eagles have incentive to do it quickly because they don't want to wait for Burrow. Burrow, I think, will. Burrow's going to break the bank and probably break that $50 million. Aaron Rodgers right now, $50 million a year. I think he's going to beat that. Burrow will. So it's an incentive for the Eagles to close this out before Burrow.
Yeah, you are totally right. I totally forgot about that. Burrow's going to get every damn penny out of these Bengals, these cheap shits over here that I'm looking at right now at the stadium. That guy is going to make sure he gets paid. I know that because he's done taking hits and he wants them tied to him and, putting in work. But I agree. The Eagles should have some incentive to get this thing done. And I think Hurts is pretty much going to accept whatever you give him. I mean, obviously his agent's going to negotiate. You don't accept the first offer. But yeah, I think he's going to accept right away because he knows he doesn't want to be a problem. He can help the team. I think he's just got a great head on his shoulders. He's such a good leader. Pay that man. I love him for the future of Philly. It is bright. He's 24, man. They have so much time to build out a good roster, and Howie Roseman seems like a great GM. So excited for the future for them because, like I said, they're in the freaking NFC, and it is wide open.
Hey, we hope you're loving the Father, Son, and Holy Sport NFL show. It's been fun bringing this to you. Hope you had fun today. If you're interested in sponsoring or being a guest on the show, reach out to us and look for our segments and our clips wherever you consume your content. Hey, check out our website, man. We're always making new enhancements to it, and we got merchandise like this right here, man. Hey, on behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. Talk to you next week.
All right. Peace.